Okay, one thing I want to show you before you start recording is right now I'm in Windows XP, and notice how the colors look a little off down here on the bottom. Basically, what I want to do is, depending on what I want to do is right mouse button click, go to Properties, and then I can change my theme. So I could change my Windows theme to look like classic Windows instead of Windows XP. And let me choose Apply here, and you'll see it'll take a couple of seconds to reset everything on my background. And now you can see that it's taken the color off of the color bar. So I'll say OK. Because you want to have your interface be as simple as possible so that you can teach the application that you want to. Right now I have a product called a Camtasia Recorder up here. It's a good product. It's a little bit more expensive than most, and you probably don't need all the features that Camtasia has, because it's about $135, I think. There are other products that are usually under $40. But one of the things with the Camtasia product, let me shrink this down, but one of the things you can do with Camtasia, you can edit some of your videos. Again, it's a pretty decent product, but again, there are video editing products that are cheaper in the $49 range. So let me shrink that down to the screen and show you some other things. If you look at this, my screen is really busy. I have lots of icons on here. One of the things that I usually do before I start a recording process is I'll right mouse button click, choose New, Folder, and I'm gonna call this a desktop. CK for desktop backup. Then what I usually do is I'll just go through and I'll take all the stuff that I don't need by just basically dragging and dropping all the stuff that I don't need on my desktop for whatever class or whatever I'm going to teach. Just dragging and dropping this in my desktop backup. I got a video game out there. Things that I'm not going to need to use. I can drag and drop over a big area like this. And then the things that I want to leave on here, I can hold the Control key down. So I'm clicking on these with the left mouse button. Is there anything else that I want to leave out there? Nope, everything else looks fine, so I can just drag and drop it in. Now if I want to, now I can also go and do a right mouse button click and close that group. Now you don't have the option to close a group if you're not running on Windows XP. And I can close this, close these folders. Now let's say I was going to talk about Internet Explorer here. One of the things I want to do is now I'm recording 640 by 480, and 640 by 480 is ideal. Let me get this back up here. 640 by 480 is our ideal resolution. 5 frames a second is probably the minimum that we want to use. 256 colors is ideal also. You can use more colors if you want to. If the resolution that you want is higher, when it runs off the internet, it's going to be a little distorted or a little blurry. So ideally we want it at 640 by 480. It takes a little bit of time to get used to running at 640 by 480 because you probably run at 1280 by 1024 or 1024 by 768 resolution. So once you set your screen down to be a little bit smaller. Another thing too is, watch how I move my cursor. Is you need to move your cursor back and forth relatively slowly. It's a lot slower than normal. And whenever you're talking about how to use a product, you want to explain what you're doing. Right mouse button click on Capture. Left mouse button click on the window. Scrolling down, I click on Folder. I click on this. Okay, so basically it's we need to create products for our least common denominator user, and most of those users don't really know how to use the system very well. So basically moving the mouse around, it should take about 3 to 4 seconds to move across the screen. You can set the frame rate a little bit higher and move faster, but realistically, you want to develop your system for a generic end user, okay? Now I'm going to shrink this down by doing a minimize left mouse button. And I'm going to go into Internet Explorer. I got my cute little dog up there. And I can, just type in here and browse. So I could be teaching a class on Internet Explorer. One of the things that you might want to do too is when you're recording on the screen, if you don't really need to talk about this bar here, shrink the bar down by grabbing it like this with my left mouse button, getting the up and down arrow, and just pulling it down like that. That way I can stretch out my product and have a little bit more room to talk about my product. In this case, it's Microsoft Internet Explorer. And then I could explain, how it works, and what all the bars are and what they do, and show the user how to use the product and not be taking up space by using the start toolbar. Sometimes in Windows XP, you have the option to lock the taskbar. So if you notice here, I can't move it. It's stuck there. This up and down arrow is for my Internet Explorer. If that's the case, right mouse button click on it and unlock the taskbar. Another thing you can do too is you can, by a right mouse button, left mouse button clicking, is you can drag and drop this and move it around on the screen wherever you want it to be. But for the most part, I'm just going to shrink this down, and then whatever application I want to train, I can have it be full screen. And another thing you want to do too is keep your videos relatively short, in the about 3.5, 4 minute range. You can probably tell I'm not doing it in this case, but you should just cover a topic like the File menu, or Save As, or Open, or New, and cover all of these options, and then create another video to talk about opening, another video to talk about editing with Notepad, another video to talk a Save As, or if Save As is a small thing, you might want to create, a couple of these: page setup, print preview, and send, all as one video. Okay, hope you understand. When you're done too, is you can kill that, and I'm going to leave my screen recorder running because I want to show you if I finish the session and I want to go back to the way that my desktop is set up. I can right mouse button click, go down to Properties, left mouse button click, go to Settings, and I can change my screen resolution to whatever I'm comfortable with. So get back to whatever I normally use, 32-bit color, 1024 by 768. Then whenever I want to record again, I just go back down to 640 by 480. And sometimes you can't get to that level. If you can't get to that level, go into Advanced, go into your adapter, go into List All Modes, and here's where you can set 640 by 480. Here are all the modes that the video card will display. Also, when I'm scrolling down on the in the scroll down button, you want to go kind of slow. If you go too fast, people won't be able to read it. So as you notice, it's taking me a little bit of time to scroll down through that box and scroll up. That's a little bit faster there. If you go really quickly, it'll just jump around in the video when you're watching it on the internet. Okay, I'm going to cancel there. And as you see, this resolution, it's hard to see the OK and the cancel button. But again, if I shrink that taskbar down, I see those. Cancel, and I'll just cancel out of this one right now.